Welcome back, everyone. The Halloween Haunts 365. I'm Jared, and that's not Terry over there.
No, I'm not Terry. She's
No,
way better looking than me.
yeah, I was going to mention that, but I didn't want to hurt your feelings.
No, that's fine.
But we have Troy from Terror Tours on tonight. He's got announcements to make. We got videos to play. Terry's sorry she's going to miss you all, but she got stuck in the work muck, and that happens.
Ew. Yeah.
So I'm going to pilot this shit show myself.
Oh, this is gonna be a Troy show. Got it. Okay.
Yep, a complete Troy show. But I'm excited to do this show. I mean, it's something I know you've been working hard on since the last Territory ended.
That's right. I have to turn off my phone so that I don't.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Please silence your cell phones in the audience, please. This is a very important conversation. So we want eyes forward, heads up, eyes forward.
That's right. We worked hard on this show, sort of. Well, we worked hard on the shit we're showing off on this show.
yeah. This we just walked into 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, definitely. It was something we've been trying to put together. But I want to start at last year because it was my first time on Terror Tours. We had an absolute blast. If you couldn't tell from all the raving we've done about Terror Tours in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
But so we went through the history because we did that before.
Yeah.
So I got a couple questions here, but
okay.
Yeah, let's see if I got any from last year now. So last year, I found out that when I made the video, we changed some haunts around because it was early season, some were open. It was a whole muck. I was able to save Troy's life during the East Coast with that.
yeah. That conversation was fun. After a day and a half of talking to people all day, Jared comes up to me and goes, "So this one's not open that day," and I what? Excuse me. So. We handled it. All the other haunts were awesome with it. Nobody had to move around or anything like that. We just pivoted to a backup. I don't tell other haunts that they're backups because that's not cool. But when I'm creating these tours, it's I will look at all the haunts in the area, and I don't look at them based on quality. And I don't look at them solely based on name or marketing, recognition, things like that. I've said before on here that we pride ourselves on having ones that you may not have heard about, or you may have slightly heard about. You maybe saw their logo on something, you saw them on a show, or just little stuff. And then of course we always try to have some, one of the big ones on. But it's to give you a clear picture of each region or city of what they have, and so we always end up getting some backups just in case. It has happened several times where either a haunt will fall through. We don't get communication back and forth, and I can only wait so long when I've got 3 or 4 haunts that are ready to go, and I'm waiting on one straggler to give me pricing or even to communicate with me. And I've learned over the years that I need to communicate with them as early as possible. So I've already talked to haunts for the next 2 or 3 years. Yes. I've gotten face to face. I went to Transworld. I've talked to them on the phone or, on Messenger and stuff like that. And that's honestly, I believe, Castle Blood right over here. I talked to him when he was on the Haunt Hour several years ago. And I said, "We're coming to your haunt." And so I've kept in contact with them. Crawford, same way. Susie was on the show with us. And I said, "When I come to Pittsburgh, you're on the tour." Like those two already knew it. They've known about it for years that they were going to be on this tour. The other ones didn't, and I've learned over the years that I have to have backups and I have to talk to these haunts as early as possible so that when I call them in January or message them, because most haunts don't look at any of their social media, any of their emails or anything in January, February. And that's when I'm crafting the tour. So I get them to realize, hey, if Troy calls, it's not just a person asking, "Are you open? How much are your tickets? Is it scary?" They want, this is business. And so it has worked out a lot better. But we even had to this year, we had to pivot this year as well. And that's actually to the benefit. So it's going to be great what we've created for this year. But yeah, so we had to pivot last year after there was already announcements of who was going to be on it. We had to change things.
Yeah,
But
and that I'm sure that's always going to happen
yeah,
because
yeah.
shit happens, and then you just got to take the curve. But last year's curve worked out pretty damn good.
Yes.
Um, so last year was a mix of new, old, different,
Yeah.
big, small. Like, so the Friday night we had, where'd we go first? We went to Fright Factory.
Yep. Yep. Fright Factory, the old school, multi-themed
Yeah,
haunted house. Just your haunted house.
it's
The
your
fact that that's
typical.
go like across the road and go underneath and go around and stuff like that. That their layout was really cool. And the way it was presented was great. It was your typical haunted house that everybody kind of knows what to expect, but then doesn't know what to expect when they get in there because it's easy to change those. It's easy to take out a room, move things around. When some of these mega haunts that have a full theme, you can't just take out a room out of a theme. Penhurst, you can't put a clown in the middle of the asylum. It has to stick with the theme the whole time. Where this haunt was able to, to pivot as they go along. So there's always something new to see at those type of haunts, which is good.
Yeah, and it's Fright Factory is one of those where you go, you get in, you finish. There's got a little food stand, a little merch shop, and then you're done. So it kind of worked out perfectly for what you had planned next, which was Penhurst.
Yeah,
which is it's a night.
Yeah.
It really is. We just went back for Valentine's Day.
Right.
And they had an 18 and over event. It was amazing. They killed it. But we were there 4 hours.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So when we went with Terror Tours, we got right in.
Yep.
And went through everything. We had time to eat at their little stands. Now all those stands are actually inside.
Oh,
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Not under the drizzle like we had.
No. And leave it to Terror Tours.
Yeah.
The only weekend we had any even drops of precipitation was your weekend.
Of course.
Yeah.
Which we thought having it in September would have worked in our favor because I know that the upper north, the upper northeast can get some crazy stuff in October, and so I was like, let's put it in September because then we know it's probably going to be better weather. Not really thinking about rain could come at really any time,
Yeah.
So
And that doesn't really hurt the Penhurst experience because it's all inside.
no.
And it adds a creepiness when you're pulling up in the rain and seeing the buildings for the first time.
Everybody said that even though it rained, it didn't rain on any of them.
No.
It was like a light drizzle or it had rained, so things were soggy or whatever. But you're right. It gave you that fall feeling, and that's one of the problems we have here in Texas is that in October, it's still 90 degrees and we're all in shorts and tank tops going through haunted houses. There's no fall leaves here or anything like that. So it's very not spooky, and haunts do a good job of trying to make it that way, but they just get you in the door to the air conditioning and then they create the atmosphere inside the buildings. So which Penhurst didn't have to do that. And and really any of them. Bates didn't have to do it. It was that crisp, cold, damp feeling that lends you to already feel like, you're already like this. And now you're getting scared. So now you're like this, so
and then Saturday we headed up a little early to hit the world's biggest general store, I think it's called.
Yep. I always try to put something kooky on there.
When Troy told me we were doing, I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
But
hey, they had animatronics in there, so
they did, and good food at the end of that, so it kind of worked out perfectly.
And everybody had a good time walking through the giant maze. It was literally a haunted house that was well lit and had lots of stuff to buy and creepy animatronics. Some of them were very creepy, like those trees and stuff like that. They were very creepy. And then it had all the things you can ever buy in a store. It had a true value inside of there.
Yeah.
It is the world's largest general store. And then there was food at the end. So it worked out that everybody got to eat. And then, and then
we headed to two of the most unique haunts in the area.
Absolutely. Yes.
Because, if you're a fan of Hell House, there's a new movie coming out that's getting a theatrical release.
Yep.
And that's just going to make that place shine even more. And it's probably one of the most theatrical haunts in our area.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just from the moment you walk in to the moment you leave, it's not haunt acting, it's actual acting.
Right, right. And that was
Like,
something that we didn't really like. I didn't when I talked to these haunts. Sorry, when I talk to these haunts, everybody needs to remember that I've never been to almost any of these haunts. All these right here, I've never been to any of them, not one. So
none
I'm
of us have been.
first time too, and that also is I don't talk to them about their haunts. I do ask them how long is it, because I need to know, do I need to put Crawford before Haunted Hills, or do I need to put who needs to be on their own on Sunday, who's the biggest one that has the most to do, those type of things. So it's not so much that I'm asking, hey, what is your haunt like? I kind of already know that based on reviews that I look at, and I do lots of research on them, but I stop short of like reading all of the review because I don't want to know what's going on in there. So I didn't really know that Waldorf was as theatrical as it was. And everybody loved that fact because, again, it was a different style of haunt that you're not used to going into a story. Sure, all haunts have a backstory. They all have some sort of storyline that they try to follow, at least to give their actors some direction. But most of the time, the patrons don't know it because they're like this, or they're screaming or running or laughing, whatever. But for us, for haunters, we're looking for that. And we absolutely got hammered with it at Waldorf. And everybody really loved being able to experience the whole. I didn't know we were going to go up three stories and then down, and through all that. They had one actor, the girl in the top floor that was dancing.
Yeah, that whole scene, magic, pure magic.
That was her first night.
That's insane.
She had never acted before like that, and she was scared to death of doing it because she thought she was going to be bad. And they played off very well together, and she did a fantastic job. Everybody kept saying that was one of their favorite scenes besides the bellhop in the beginning.
Yeah.
That everybody loved that. And she still talks about it now, how that made her season, that made her more confident throughout the rest of the season because she acted in front of very difficult people. Yeah. We're not easy to scare. We're not easy to entertain because we've seen it all before.
And we all stopped on that staircase to watch.
Oh,
all of us did.
Absolutely. I was like, I don't care if there's 100 people behind me. I am watching.
We all stopped dead in our steps, and we've been through thousands. Yeah. And this just made us go with the lighting and her moving like that, him moving like, oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah. Angela and her team did amazing on that. On the whole building because, sure, it's Hell House. But they didn't make you feel like you were in Hell House. Like basically they didn't use the movie to reel you in.
Yeah.
Sure, the outside reels you in, but they didn't like lean on that as a crutch. To be like, okay, you're gonna go through Hell House. Well, after a while, that might get boring. So the fact that they made it their own story within the house.
And they added the most important scenes from the movie,
right?
But that's it. They didn't flood it with Hell House,
right? And so it was their creativity mixed with the movies, and it worked out perfectly. We never felt like, okay, this is just another scene from the movie. It was something new. So
yeah, and we have to give her a huge thank you for letting us into the basement.
Right, which started a whole thing with her after that because then she started getting patrons in. She had never let regular public down to that during October. When you do the paranormal tours, you do the overnight to go down there, but the haunt never has let people go down there before, and she loved the idea, and to be able to go down there, like as soon as we told people, like nobody knew we were going to do this, and I didn't either until we got there. Like she was like, well, because 2 of the haunts had closed because of weather, because that night it did rain a lot, and there's electricity out there, there's actors, it's cold, it's wet, and that was for the best. But she was like, I need to do something for you guys. You guys are all the way out here. Do you guys want to go down to the basement? And everybody, it was just like going to the top floor again. Everybody's face was like, what? We gonna go down in here? I remember Tim. Tim was like, we gonna go down there. So,
because Tim and I were talking to her and trying to, pull our local weight around, and when we found out, we told you to go get the rest of the group, and I told Bruce wasn't around, so I brought Bruce up, and I'm like, we're going to the basement. And he's like, what?
Oh my god. Yeah, that was. I mean, there was not. I mean, there was not enough time for sure. Like it was just like, oh my god, here's this, and here's that, and here's that, and here's the chain, and here's the wall, and here's the fridge. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. It's a very famous, very small area.
Yeah.
But also I want to give her a shout out because what we didn't get to see, her trail,
Yeah.
is a really good trail. So if you guys are planning on heading there this year, check it out. You walk through Hollywood movies, and there is huge scenes and great actors, and they all play the role. It's really cool.
I'm hoping maybe one of the years of East Coast they can maybe couple that with like Reapers or something, and and have people go up there, because I mean East Coast has a pretty good area to use for haunts, and that I mean I think a lot of people would love to go see that at the convention, to be able to go to to be able to go to the Abaddon and see that, as well as see what she's done for the haunt and stuff, and I think that'd be a cool little tour. I would hit that up for sure. Again, of course, but
Oh yeah. Then we had another really different kind of haunt after that.
when I saw that it was up there next to them,
Oh yeah.
I was like, well, I got to figure this out. So I went onto YouTube and I found this certain web show, this certain show. I think it's Halloween Haunt 365. I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
those douchebags? Yeah.
yeah, those guys. Gave one of the most thorough and interesting and exciting reviews of that place. And after hearing what you said, and then and I didn't even have to talk to you about it because I watched your video, but I also watched other people's videos about it too. And I was like, that is exactly what I need on this tour, because it is the hidden little gem that everybody's going to go, oh, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the name of it?
That was Last Laugh.
What? Corey's place? Corey, when I told him we were coming, he was like, this is going to be the coolest. Like, he was so excited. And I love when haunts do that, because I don't think of us as like this big deal. Like, I just think it's just me and my friends coming up on a bus because we don't want to rent a van. So we're like, let's just get a bus. We need more people. But his excitement for it, and then seeing what he did, was like, his excitement was too low for what he produced there. He's very humble about what he has in there.
Extremely humble.
Yeah. And it's like, it absolutely, coming from the home hunter background that I'm at, I could see it in every turn, how much pride they all have in that place and how much work they go into crafting it from beginning to end, where it all fits, it all makes sense, and it's all so crazy that it's in that barn in his backyard. And to have he had the parking figured out, even though it was raining, we still went in his grass. I have a feeling his grass still has not recovered yet, but that was awesome. Everything worked out. We walked down the hill. We did the waivers. We did, we did their sideshow thing with all their actors coming out and being interactive with us and stuff like that. It was from start to finish. It was a well-produced professional show with that ultimate home haunt feel.
Yep.
And everybody at the end of the tour was like, that was our favorite part.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just that type of stuff helps all haunts thrive, because that means he's going to take that excitement that everybody had and he's going to build upon that. And he's going to become this, Penhurst style and Hell's Gate and things like that, because that gives them so much confidence that they're doing something great. And he's killing it out there.
He is. He's also killing himself, because he's tearing all that down and starting a new attraction.
Why not? Why not? It's only April 3rd. Come on. Got plenty of time.
Well, I don't know about that, because now it says featuring 2 attractions, Walksville Asylum and Darkness Has Fallen.
Right.
So I don't know what Corey's up to.
So maybe he's leaving it. And
I'm going to have to talk to Corey.
And it goes outside.
I'm going to have to
go up there in October.
I'm going up there before that. I got films to make, man.
Yeah, that's true.
I do actually. He let me test the camera during Christmas, and I never shared it. I did
Right,
delete it, but man, that was beautiful to watch, walk through. And I
yeah,
deleted it for him because I'm a man of my word.
right, right.
And then, so after Corey, we headed where Sunday? Where'd we go?
We went to Bates Motel.
Went to Bates, big name,
Yep,
big hayride.
yep.
You know, it was they got it midway, so people were able to take their time, play in the merch shop, watch. You know,
I
people
beat Tristan at axe throwing that I've never done before in my life, and Tristan has. So I just want to rub that into Tristan.
rub it in the Tristan. You went down.
um, you know, we originally had Valley of Fear on,
Yes.
and their location had a scheduling issue. So we're talking about the pivoting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Valley of Fear had to back out because the place they rent said you can only have X amount of days.
Yes.
And they said we want you to move. You know, they figured out with Halloween and where it fell, they wanted to move days. Well,
Yeah.
it was our day or the
First responders day.
first responders night. And let's be honest, you're going to kick the Terror Tours off their night because first responders are very important. You know, so I had no problem with that at all. They offered all of our attendees, you know, free tickets.
They did. They did.
Like and so anybody that was still in the area could go back and see it again. You know, but that was going to be our first ever hayride on Terror Tours.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, I need to find one that has a hayride because I had only been on a hayride in East Coast tour last year for Legends of the Fog. I had sorry, I had been Legends of Fear. I had been on theirs. That was my first ever hayride as a haunter in general, and I love that place. But the tours had never been to a hayride yet. So I was like, when I heard Valley of Fear had one, I was like, yes. And I know Pennsylvania is known for their hayrides, and which makes very little sense to me because of all the weather up there. Like I was expecting like down here to have a lot of hayrides.
But see, I'm not super hayride guy.
Right.
I'm house guy. But what I do enjoy about the hayride is the weather. I want the wind in my face. I want it cold. Yeah. I want that hot chocolate once I'm done. You know what I mean? Like I want to be in the elements on a hayride.
True. Yeah, you don't want it to be sunny and hot like it would be here, you know.
No, because Field of Screams is always our well, it wasn't last year, but it's usually our first stop. Okay. And we'll do all the houses first because they're 110. They're 1890 buildings. Right. So there's no ventilation. Yeah. So September 13th, it's still 85, 90 degrees out. So we come out of those two dying. And then I'm sitting on the hayride with hay sticking to my legs and it's just so wet. Yeah, so I look forward to the October hayrides.
Right. So yeah, you know, Bates was an awesome finale to the weekend. You know, we took several group pictures throughout the weekend. We posted on our Facebook page the one of us in front of the Abaddon.
What a great picture.
Yeah, it's well, my wife's not in it, so it's not that great, but it's but it's okay. You know, we even used the bus on the very edge to light us up, and so we got the bus on there too. You know, but it was we had a really great picture of, and I'm trying to find it actually while I'm talking to you. We had great opportunities to hang out at Bates. Like you said, there was, there were things to do. They have a great merch shop. They had the donuts, which is like the big thing there, minus the haunt itself. And, so we were able to spend a little more time there and we weren't rushed and they provided a great show for us. The hayride was cool. The corn maze. I've been to Bates one other time, and they didn't have the corn maze up because there was
no corn.
Yeah, and so there was no corn, and everybody kept saying, "Oh, the corn maze is really great. The corn maze is really great." So I'm like, okay, I want to see that, and it was very well put together. So everything they did was up to what we expected.
So yeah, I mean, it was a fun tour. We had a blast. What would you have changed if you could have changed anything? Because honestly, I think it went off without a hitch. I think we all did.
Well, so the only we do an after show survey, and the one real because we say, be honest with us. What would you change? What did you not like? And pretty much everybody agreed the hotel.
Okay.
And so
But Philly is so tough, man.
it is.
Like, to find a good hotel in a good area by that airport, good luck.
Right, right. They do not do. Philly has like 3 hotels near the airport. They have a very weird spot where the airport is. Like in Pittsburgh, there's like 30 hotels that are all around within a 2 mile radius of that airport. It's just a huge mecca of hotels, which is what you find at most airports.
Yeah.
Whereas with Philly, they're like, oh, we built an airport. We don't have any hotels. We need to build a few, you know? And then they stopped building. So it's
Yeah.
like there's just no more. There's also not a lot of room where they put it too, you know? So we had to go down a little bit further, but our basis for hotels, and we actually asked this as a poll this year, was, is the breakfast and a shuttle very important? And everybody said yes, because we're already asking you to spend money to fly there, to drive there, to stay there, to do the tour. And I'm like, we need to have breakfast. We need to have free breakfast. Whether or not you take it or not, that's fine.
Right.
It's the option that, you know, every morning you don't have to spend $15 on a breakfast somewhere, you know. And we always want a shuttle, because we do have a fair amount of people that fly in, and I don't want them to then have to spend another $50 on an Uber, figure all that out, have issues with that, whatever. And so we're like, no, we're going to have a shuttle and breakfast. And so the hotel we picked was actually the hotel itself was fine. The hotel was nice. It
Oh
was,
yeah, I saw Tim and Yolanda's room, and it was fine.
yeah. They built it right after COVID or right before COVID, and then they couldn't open, so they just let it sit there. And then, and then they finally opened it, and that was fine. There was some office stuff that happened that was not cool. But there was the customer service aspect of the hotel was extremely lacking. To several of our attendees, and us as a host. But with, like you said, with Philly, even if we had picked the other hotels that were near the airport, there's still nothing to do there, and there's no like food around that area either. Where that's actually what we look for. Is I say, okay, here's these hotels. When they're offering me prices, I then look at what is offered around them.
Yep.
How many food options are within walking? Is there a Walmart or a Costco or a liquor store close to us? Is there something that people can do that's, this close by, that is not, that they don't have to rent a car for? And that hotel any of the hotels in Philly did not have that option. So there was a Sheets or whatever it is that was not very far away from that. That was about it.
Yeah.
And so that part of it was a letdown, but it was either that hotel or over $200 a night. And I'm not going to pay that, because I don't believe hotel rooms should be over $200 a night. I don't care what kind. I mean, sure, you can have those fancy downtown hotels and you get the penthouse and crap, but there's some hotels that are extremely overpriced for what they offer. And so I'm like, no, I'm not going to charge people another $200 a night, because that would have just killed the tour.
Yeah.
Honestly, and that's even how I price the tour is, would I pay this? If I'm not going to pay it, then why would I continually try to hound all of you to pay it? That's not right. So it's based on quality, not the price. And the price doesn't mean that it's quality. Sure, I could charge $500 for this tour. That doesn't mean that it's going to be worth it. So the hotels are always a fight, because I'm not there. There was actually a point this year where I was actually going to fly to Pittsburgh and go look at the hotels before I booked it. But the 2 that we got, well, we actually have 3 this year, but the 2 that we got were offered by, I think it's Marriott, but it's the Fairfield and the Town Place Suites, and they're literally right next to each other. And we have the same rate for both. One just has kitchens, one does not, but they have suites in the other one and not in the, and so there's lots of options for people, but they're right next to each other. So if somebody, let's say people want to stay an extra couple days, they have a place to make food if they want to do the Town Place. But they really worked with us on the pricing and everything, because they wanted us there. And it's got the free shuttle, it's got the free breakfast and everything. There's a ton of there's a really good Mexican restaurant, I guess, right? Like we can all walk to it. There's plenty of shopping and stuff right there too. So this one's going to work out really well. So that's always my risk of doing this, is that I'm telling you this is the hotel we're going to be at, and I'm even risking my own time being there because I have to stay there too, and so that's always like, I'm always like, when I pull up, it was nice that I was able to go there when I went to East Coast. I took a little extra time and I went to the hotel for the Philly tour, and from the outside it looked great, and I can't obviously know what's going to happen customer service wise
Right.
later, but it's always a gamble. And so when it goes well, it's great, but, and I also know people know that's out of my control. Sure, I could have picked a nicer hotel. We could have possibly had the same customer service issues too,
In that area, very likely.
Yeah,
What I mean?
Yeah, they were very rude to several of our attendees, and I will not have that.
Yeah,
So,
I completely understand. All right, but we're gonna hop into 2025. It's something
yeah.
you've worked very hard on. We have an official list. We have some old, some new, some different, some big. Let's play your tour announcement video. Let's do that.
Pittsburgh's tough.
Yeah, they are. They're tough. Tough. Pittsburgh's tough.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like the fire. I like the steel. Very nice. Very nice.
Yep. We try to every once. I mean, it depends on where I'm going. Like Philly, I was like, okay, there's not like. I mean, Philly's an old town, so I was trying to figure out what to do with that, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go with what I've done before. So, but this one, I was like, I knew I had to do something with fire and steel. It's steel, it's a steel city.
Steel City.
Steel City.
Black and yellow, baby. Black and yellow.
Right now, if Aaron Rodgers ends up going to the Steelers this year, we're gonna just ignore all of that because I'm a Bears fan and he sucks.
I hear you.
Yeah.
All right, so. Do we, the days we're hitting these haunts, or?
Of course I do.
Let's do it. What are we doing Friday, Troy?
All on Friday night. Saturday and Sunday, you're just gonna go run around Pittsburgh. Okay.
Okay.
Are we good? All right. We're gonna need to go fast because some of these are long. Okay. So we're gonna run. We're just gonna pull up. You're gonna look at the sign, and we're gonna go. I'm gonna take a picture so I can prove that you guys were there. And then I don't know what about refunds. I don't know. Who are you guys?
I like it.
So Friday night, we are going to start it off with something that has been on a bucket list of mine and a lot of people is Castle Blood.
100%. Just watching that video gave me, if you're from Jersey, I'm going to say a haunt name, and it's going to stick to your kid-like instincts, and that's Castle Dracula.
Okay.
And that looked like scenes from Castle Dracula with upgraded actors and stuff in there. So I'm extremely excited about Castle Blood.
So it is not this is going to be a very different experience for people. It's not a boo scary, no. Gorilla suit, clown people, Dracula, that type of stuff. It is a show and it's interactive. You are part of it. You are doing things. It is a mix of a game and a haunt. So it is definitely going to be something you're going to want to, and that's kind of the reason we wanted to put it first, was we wanted people to be, by the end of the weekend, people are starting to get a little tired, and so we're like, okay, we need to have something in the beginning that is interactive. I mean, we're not, you're not going to do puzzles, like hardcore puzzles, escape room type stuff, but you're definitely going to interact with the actors, with the room, and the detail. It's in an old funeral home. It's in an old funeral home in a neighborhood, and Ricky and his team are top-notch actors and set designers and creators and costume. All the costumes are super, super detailed and stuff. So it's definitely going to be an experience that you're going to, remember for a long time. Shannon Hops from Dark Hour, Alan's wife, said that is her number one bucket list haunt.
Wow.
Like she went to that one years ago, and she's like, it's one that she's always wanted to return to. She's like, it is just an amazing show. So, and then right after that, we will be going to Portals of Fear.
New attraction.
It's backwards. Yes. Portals of Fear was around a couple of years before 2024. They had their last show was in 23. They closed last year to completely remodel the entire thing and double its size. So they are hard at work. I just saw a post they put up yesterday. They got like 4 giant stacks of 2x4s delivered, and lots of plywood. So they are hard at work creating even more than they've ever had before. And it's definitely going to be a haunted house. It's going to kind of be like Fright Factory, where it is your different themes, different house, type of things. But there's a lot. This is a family haunt, so it's ran by a family. So there's a lot of pride in it again. Not that all of them don't have pride; they all do. But it's definitely that down home, feel to it. And they've done a lot of work on the special effects and acting and stuff like that. So they are very excited to be the new kids on the block, and to show us what they've been creating for 2 years now almost. Yeah. So that'll be cool that they were able to take time. Somebody was talking to me the other day about starting a haunted house, and I actually used them as an example. I said, too many haunts have started out trying to be big. They just have to rush into it, and like, we have to open it. We have to have 3 haunts. We have to have all these things. We have to build all these things. And then when it comes to be October, they're not done, and they don't like it, and then the audience sees it and it suffers. And so if you build it organically and you build it as you go, then you're going to grow that way as well. And you're not going to kill yourself trying to build everything. Not to quote Dark Hour again, but he changes his haunt like 20% every year. Just enough to keep him busy all year and to keep his team busy and creative and all that. But it's not overwhelming, because if you change it 50 or 60 or 100%, you're sitting there trying to run around, and then your detail suffers because you're not concentrating on just this. You're concentrating on this. And so for them to be able to close for an entire year shows their dedication to what they're going to do and take the time to do it right. Instead of doing a half-ass show in 24, they're like, no, we're just going to wait and build this awesome thing that will come out when it's ready. So I really like that attitude a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that for sure. And then Saturday, we're going to go to a haunt that I love school haunts. Dent has always been on my list, but Crawford School of Terror is once again another family haunt. Troy and Susie own it, and they're in there all the time. I bet you she's there now doing stuff in there. They are constantly upgrading it. It is all through an old school out there in Crawford. And they have an awesome coffee bar, and they have all kinds of stuff in there too. They have fantastic coffee and drinks and stuff like that.
I'm a coffee guy, so bring it.
There you go. Their haunt is definitely actor driven. There's a lot of actors in there. And it's very much story driven. She has the story of her haunt on her webpage, and it's in depth. And their actors play that role, and they're very directed on that. And so they do, from what I've been told, they do a fantastic job. They're the smaller haunt out there, and they're further out from Pittsburgh than some of the other ones are. So it's not as well known in the area, in their area and in their little region of Western PA. They're known, but not like in Pittsburgh. So they're trying to bring people from Pittsburgh out there and stuff. And so they're definitely growing. And they won the Chamber of Haunters Haunt Bowl 2 years ago. They were the first winners of it. So they got the cool belt and everything like that. So
that's awesome.
That'll be a cool one going through a school, going upstairs and downstairs and things like that. So that'll be a different type of haunt for sure. And then we get to go to Haunted Hills Estate Scream Park. See, I hate this pointing thing. It's right there. And they have a sprawling haunt. They've got all kinds. They have several different themes. They got the Midway. They've got all the awesome stuff going in there. I'm very excited. I'll just say I'm excited to see all 5 of these. I'm super excited because
me too, man.
It's like I said before, I've never seen any of these, and that's really the 100% reason why I do these tours is I want to see haunts that I've never seen with my friends, and to maybe bring you to some that I've seen that you haven't, so it's to say that I'm excited is an understatement for all of these haunts. But they're the Scream Park one. They're the, they have the marketing, they have all the flash and all the flare and everything, but they back it up. So this one's going to be, a couple hours of us being there, going through the different attractions and the Midway stuff. And then Sunday we will go.
Sunday.
Sunday we're going to Fright Farm.
And I can't wait to try this pizza before we get into Fright Farm.
Right. Because yes, we get pizza. We get a bonfire. We get a covered area to hang out in. We get to play the games, and we get to go through all of their haunts, which includes a hayride. So they have, I believe they have 3. I think it's 3 or 4. When I in posts coming up on our Facebook page every couple of weeks or whatever, I put out a post just about each haunt. And so I will have a lot more details about what each haunt offers, what they're going to offer us. But Fright Farm is pulling out all the stops for us. We get food, we get games, we get bonfire. And the reason that I do these bigger haunts on Sunday is you step off the bus and you get to go do whatever you want. They will give us the lanyard or the wristbands, whatever it is. And, they asked me, they said, well, do you want us to direct them through here, or do you want them just to run amok? And I said, well, it's up to you. If you want them to see it in a certain way, because that's how you want to present your haunt to these type of people versus the general public, that's fine. So when we get there, it may change from what we're doing now. But as of right now, we are just going in. We're doing the bonfire and the pizza and the hangout. They will probably do some Q&A in there with us. So if anybody has any questions about how they do their stuff, I also said that maybe they could do that after. So once we're kind of getting done, we can reconvene back at the bonfire. And if people have questions, things like that, but we just get to go. And there's the only real time limit is, I think they close at 10:30 or something like that on Sunday. So it's generally we're just there all night. So you don't have to rush around and go look at this haunt, and go do this and go do this, and maybe miss playing a game or miss the merch area or something like that. We learned that early on, that trying to do even 3 haunts in a night was not possible because we were rushing people through. And, you know, we've had a couple of haunts where we've been on 2, and I'm like, I don't want to rush, but we need to, you know, it's getting close to, we need to get to the other haunt.
Yeah.
But that's why we pick some of these, you know, Castle Blood. I know exactly how long it's going to take us to get through there. He has the time broken out for us. Nobody else is going to be there. We have the first hour and a half ticket slots. So it's all us, no matter what. So that I know we can get to Portals of Fear with no issue. You know, same with Crawford. I know that Crawford is not going to take us as long as Haunted Hills Estates. So they're second because the bus is just going to hang out. You know, so we get to be there from 9 to 11, 9 to 11:30, whatever it is. And that's the same thing with Sunday, is the bus is going to drop us off. They're going to hang out, and we're going to go when everybody's done. So it's no pressure, no rushing. And a place like Fright Farm, you have to do that because they have the hayride, which I can't control how long you're on that. You know, with the haunted house, I can be like, okay, if you can go a little bit faster, you know, but for the hayride, I'm like, I can't be behind it pushing it any faster, you know? So, that's the reason why Fright Farm is on Sunday. And they're the biggest of all of them. They have the most attractions.
It makes sense because it's got the biggest midway is going to be your biggest time suck. So you might as well keep that to the Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I don't want anybody to say, well, I didn't get, you know, they offered us games, but I didn't get to play any. That is my worst feedback, is I never want to hear that. And we did in the first couple of years. It was like, well, I didn't get to do this that I paid for, because you're paying for everything that I'm telling you we're going to do. You're paying for that. So you get to get it. There's no question about, well, you said we were going to have games and I didn't get to play all the games. I expect that feedback if you didn't get to play the games. Now, if you spent a half an hour at the merch stop or you went back to the hayride again or whatever, then that's kind of on you. But
or you sit on a table and talk to fans for a half hour and almost miss the merch shop. That's on you.
Yeah, Jared. So
I saw it though. We made it happen and we're good.
You know, that's right. You know, each one of these haunts will probably do something for us, you know, that's unique. You know, some of them it's just the haunt, and you know, we get quick access, things like that. We never have to wait in line and things like that, you know, but you know, a couple of them may offer us merch. We've got the pizza and the bonfire at Fright Farm and stuff like that. So usually once we get there, even what they told me they were going to do changes, and they add something. Like with Waldorf, we got to go downstairs in the basement, you know. So as the tour happens, these are things that you can never get on your own. Sure, at Fright Farm you can get the pizza and the bonfire and stuff, but you're going to pay. I mean, it's like almost $100 a ticket per person to do that whole private area thing. Yeah. So I mean, our tickets are $285. So, and
there's 4 other haunts. Do the math.
Right. So, to bring 2 of you to Fright Farm to do all that stuff, you're looking at $200 right there for just 2 of you to go to one haunt. So, it's these haunts did a fantastic job with the deals they gave us. And it's, we pay the haunts. I don't want anybody to think that we don't pay them. We don't dictate our prices to them. We ask them, what do you want to charge us? And what do we get for it? And they really appreciate that, because this is helping them, and I don't want to take money away from them. I don't want anybody to do it and say, well, we're going to do it for free. I mean, if you offer it to us for free, that's fine. But that just lowers the price. If a haunt says we're coming in for free, I'm not charging you what they would have charged. I dropped the price. Right. So all these haunts were great with what they give us for pricing, and it's gonna we got a great bus company that was actually cheaper than Philadelphia. So because last year Philadelphia we started out at $300 at the convention, and our early bird was $315, and our early bird this year is $285. Yeah. So we've already dropped it, significantly. So that shows you I'm not doing this for profit.
Yeah, there's no profit, guys. We're no. I don't know how he gets these prices to begin with. I just yell at him all the time. Trey, go higher. Let's.
Nope. My wife keeps telling me that, and I go, nope, I don't care. That's not why I do this. I don't do this. This isn't a business. Nope. Sure, I had to pay taxes last year on it, but that's because the IRS went after the PayPal stuff.
Yeah.
it's that's the only business part of it. So no, I don't do this for profit. I do it literally to see haunts with my friends, and I love meeting new friends and having old friends come on there, and
And even the bus aspect is fun. You
Yeah.
think, oh, we got a 2-hour drive, but it doesn't feel like 2 hours. Mainly because I'm throwing shit at Troy, I'm yelling at Dozer, I'm slapping Tim in the head. You have fun with your friends.
Yep. And that's when, so we used to do everything on one night. We used to do the swag bags and the shirts and everything all on one night. And now we've broken it up so you kind of get something each night. And I know, as far as I know, somebody was going to give us something on one of the nights. I think it might be Friday night. So on Friday night, everybody gets the tour shirt. We're still working on that aspect. So that will happen, for sure. But on Friday nights, we get a tour shirt. And then Saturday night, we get the swag bag. Usually I do the swag bag on the longest run, like the longest travel time. The thing is, this year, all of them are kind of within an hour of Pittsburgh. Like Castle Blood isn't that far away. It's like 40 minutes, from the airport. And Fright Farm is under 2 hours. Crawford is not 2 hours away. So it's we're going to have much shorter bus times this year than normal. And so Saturday we do the swag bags, which is where all of our sponsors give us stuff. And we got awesome things in there. Usually it's another t-shirt. It's cool prizes. We have our golden ticket stuff in there. So we add pretty much everybody will, each year we never know how many golden tickets we're going to get. We don't know how many sponsors are going to give us stuff. And so last year, I believe everybody got a golden ticket. Yep. So everybody got a prize. And we will continue to do that as long as we have sponsors. And so there's always something cool in there. We always try to change up what the personalized thing is. Haunts will give us stuff, lots of vendors will give us different things. And, we're always looking for new sponsors. So if you're watching this and you want to sponsor, you want to drop something in the swag bag for these people to be jealous that everybody, that nobody else got it, but people on the tour. It's a way to put new products. If you have something new, one of the things that I can preliminary announce is that Fright Maps is going to give us a couple of the Fright Link systems.
Shit! Shout out to Fright Maps, man.
It's still in the works. I don't know exactly how many. It may be 1, it may be 5, maybe 2, maybe whatever. But I'm excited about that thing. I'm buying one from him because I love that idea. And if you don't know what the Fright Link thing is, you need to go on to Fright Maps Facebook page and look it up. But it's basically where the haunt hooks up things in their haunt to this controller, and then on your phone, you get to control it.
Yeah.
So you get to set it off. And I did that in my home haunt a couple years ago. I had a push button for the 12-foot witch from Home Depot because it was too far back in my yard for the sensor to see kids. So I put it on my fence, and little kids would walk up and hit it. And I even had it on during the day. And so she would talk as soon as they pressed the button. So they were making her talk, and especially the little kids, they love that. And so it creates the ultimate interactivity with your haunt. But it also, sure, pro haunts aren't going to want it as much because they have to have their phone.
But that could come in handy for certain scenes that are away from certain things.
It can.
You know what I mean?
Well, for your cue lines.
Exactly.
It's going to be a game changer, I believe. For the technology's already been out there. Think of it as kind of the shooting gallery games. It's that technology, but there is something already out there that is a lot more expensive and a lot more time consuming and programming and stuff to do it. His is just basically plug and play. And so we're excited about having Fright Maps on. We definitely have all of our other sponsors that we've had over the year. Dozer and Prince, he's making us some stuff that everybody's going to get. Fright Props is back. Tri-Haunt Creations is going to give us some cool stuff this year. So we've got some really cool prizes that you're not.
Some idiots are going to also sponsor with the swag bag this year. So
he's over there. He's over there. Yeah. That guy. And I believe that insane Tim.
Wow, that insane Tim.
Tim's giving us some. Is it gonna do it?
Nah.
There it is. Yeah, Tim's. It's my unused coaster because I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, dude, all the Territor stuff is still on top of this case over here because I don't want to use it.
Right.
It's showpieces.
That's right. So yeah, we definitely have sponsor spots open. We have the bus sponsor. We got after party. After the tours, we go back to the hotel and we play games and we hang out and stuff like that. I believe, this year the Fairfield they have a conference room. That was the other problem, is that the hotel in Philly didn't have a conference room, and they also didn't have breakfast that they advertised either. So both of those have been confirmed that we do have. And
another cool thing about the hotels is you offered more than one. So I was able to use my points, and I actually booked the hotel for nothing because I had the points way before I even bought the tickets. So, and I think my hotel is 3 minutes from you. So, like, it's easy to have fun at the after party and not have a 45-minute drive home.
Right. And, and the thing is, nobody has to stay at that hotel.
Yeah.
If you have points, or you have, a credit card you like to use with a different thing or whatever, or you have, obviously the points is the biggest way. You can stay at any hotel you want, or you can stay at your house. And then all you have to do is just get to the Fairfield each night based on the itinerary time, which we send out about a week before. And we post it online, all that kind of stuff too, of when you need to be at the hotel. And I believe this year it's probably going to be the same time each night, because like we said, we're not going far to where the first haunt is a couple hours away, where we need to leave at like 5. So people will be able to have dinner, minus Sunday night, you don't have to, and still get to the bus by like 6, so, it won't be any early days this year. So,
yeah, for the Philly tours, it was 40 minutes from me, so we just went home.
Right.
I mean, why pay for it if we didn't have, I think I would have more fun staying with you guys.
You missed out.
If you guys didn't know, during haunt season, I gotta say that cash.
Right, exactly. You go to a fair amount of places, so
a couple here and there. Yeah.
So, but yeah, it you don't have to stay at our hotel. We just booked good rates that we could find on a middle of the road hotel. Nothing fancy, but good. And yeah, we do have the 3 hotels. They are on the website. When you click on our website, it says 2025 tour, and under there is a drop down with it's got the tour, it's got the haunts we're going to, it's got the hotel and the ticket page. And so you can click on all those. We have the sponsor page if you want to look at all those. And then we also have merch. We do have Terror Tours merch.
And I'm told it's high quality.
Huh?
He says it's high quality.
He did. He said he says it's good. This shirt right here is from them. That this is one of their shirts. So you can. I think we're gonna have a couple of shirts. I haven't. I need to look at the if I'm going to bring some shirts to East Coast, but we are going to have some stuff to sell at East Coast too. But
we also got to talk about the crazy amount of shit in Pittsburgh for the day.
Oh yes,
because there's some stuff to see if you're a haunt horror fan, especially zombie movies, that you really kind of want to see before getting on this bus later.
Oh, we are absolutely going. We are going to the Evansville Cemetery.
Yep, no doubt.
And the mall.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the biggest group trip you ever had for the daytime, or those 2 spots.
Yeah. We're going to... Terror Tours personally is going to rent a van. I don't know if it'll be a 15-passenger van, but it will definitely be a 7-8 seat or whatever. And then there will be other people there that will have a car too.
I'm going to have my car, so we could probably fit.
Right.
I don't know, because I'm bringing Bruce up, so we'll probably have 2 extra seats, so we'll help.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. And it's it's in Pittsburgh, so it's not like it's not like it's 2 hours away or whatever. And there is talk about going to Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum during like the morning, because they have morning tours. Or it's like they're like right at noontime or whatever. So we're gonna iron out that and figure out which day. It's probably either gonna be Thursday or Sunday. just because Friday I have stuff to do for the tours that I got to get ready for. Saturday we make sure all the bags are ready to go and things like that. So Sunday's kind of our relaxing day, so we might do it Sunday, we might do it Thursday, but we will let the attendees know, hey, this is when we're going. But you can go.
And that's the thing too, because I'll be driving up Thursday. So if you guys go Thursday, I'll just go Friday morning by myself.
Right.
And that's the beautiful thing of this tour is you can do what you want.
Right. Yep. There's a lot. I mean, obviously Pittsburgh has some great, sightseeing stuff to do. You can go see, I think it's PNC Bank Stadium, but it's where
it looks beautiful.
Oh yeah. I love seeing the pictures of that with the bridges behind it and stuff like that. Pittsburgh's a very old town, lots of movie. So look up Pittsburgh movies and you'll see like their tunnel has been in a lot of movies. One of the biggest ones was Perks of Being a Wallflower. Emma Watson's up on top of the car and she's going through the tunnel and stuff like that. There's been lots of movies that have used that tunnel in their films. But Pittsburgh is a very big filming town. So there's lots of movie set places you can go see. Kind of similar to Philly. Philly had a lot of filming stuff, plus all the history stuff too.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh is more. Their history is much darker because of all the steel and the pollution that it caused and all the sickness and everything. Their history is not as happy as maybe Philly's is. But there's plenty of tourism stuff to do there. I'm sure that I don't know if there's any ghost tours that would be doing in the daytime. I know a lot of
I don't know.
at night, which kind of sucks. So if you're coming in, you can come in Thursday and do a ghost tour. Those are more prevalent down in the South, where they'll do like New Orleans is famous for its tours. They do them all day long, and the night. Hint, hint, we're going to New Orleans eventually.
Yeah.
But there's a ton of stuff to do in Pittsburgh. Any of these older cities, they always have a lot of tourist stuff to do because they know people are coming there. There's a lot of people that go to Pittsburgh for business, and just for travel for a lot of sports and stuff like that. So they always try to make sure there's lots of touristy stuff to do. But on the itinerary, like one of the pages of the itinerary is I go through and I look for, the obvious touristy stuff. And then I also try to talk to some locals about some off the wall, stuff, maybe some really cool places, some iconic places to eat, maybe something that's been in a movie or something like that too. So we try to find some stuff for people to do, give you ideas of, things you can do. So that's also in the itinerary part of it. So.
Yeah, so I don't know why they haven't bought their ticket yet, because this is all sounding amazing.
Well, we only have, let's see, it's, where's my mouse? Let's see, 56 minus 19. There's only 37 seats left on the bus.
Yeah, so I've been busy. Get your goddamn tickets.
Yeah. The early bird price will only be good until June 30th at midnight. So that's $285. It goes to $299. Because I love messing with people's minds, and it's not $300. See, I kept it under $300. It's $299, $99, and 9/10. It's a gas price. So yeah, after June 1st, it goes up to $299. At East Coast, we'll have a special price if you buy it at the show. So yeah, it's the best deal to see 5 haunts you could ever do.
Guys, there's very few people on this planet that have bought VIP tickets to haunted attractions than me, and probably Troy. But that price will only cover 2 of them for one person. So it's a no-brainer. You can literally, even if you bought general, I don't think you can get all 5 for under this whole tour price.
No. But plus you'd be waiting. You do that at Haunted Hills or Fright Farm, you're going to be waiting in line. You may not see all their attractions if you do general, so it's just, but like we said, it's also a personal experience. It's not something you're going to be able to get on your own, unless these people. You're not going to get the type of experience you're going to get on a tour, and that's for any of the tours out there, that tours are the way to see haunted houses. Honestly.
Yeah,
that's one of our new slogans is haunts are better on terror tours.
And it is, because you go through with like-minded people.
Yeah.
Which is what I like, because I'm going to sit there and stare at scenes while other people aren't going to be rushing because they're looking at a scene.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it just, and then being able to actually have a educated conversation with it on the bus afterwards and not just a bunch of screaming kids on a hayride, it's much different.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we really like hearing on the bus afterwards, what people liked, and everybody's talking about their scenes. There's always somebody who goes, "Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, well, that would have been cooler." Because not everybody gets hit by every single part of a haunt, but the haunts themselves know we're coming, and so they don't put they'll put us through. They'll put a group of 5 of us through. They wait for that general admission. Normally we go VIP, general admission, and we're in the VIP line. So there will be some general mixed in with us. But they're, let's say they do a minute in between groups, they do 2 minutes for us. So that because they know that we're haunters, we know that, they know that we're super fans. And so they will make sure that they're presenting their best haunt to us. So you're going to see all of it. And they want you to look at everything. And that's one of the things I put in the proposal, is that these people want to look at what you did and appreciate your work, not just whether or not you can scare us or not. Sure, that's an added bonus, but we're there to appreciate your work as well. Yep. So,
hands down.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys aren't sold, well, go for it. What'd you say?
Last year when you were doing your when you were adding up all the different things that what things would have cost if you would have bought them all yourself. And I'm sitting there going, how does he know these prices of these things? Because I'm like, here's this thing out of the swag bag. And you're like, that's obviously this much. That's obviously this much. And I was like, yeah, pretty much.
I'm 10 years in, Troy, 10 years in.
Right. I think last year you said that all in, it would have been over $500.
Easy.
And that's.
And honestly, if I went looked up, I think it would have been closer to $6. I really do.
Yeah. So.
Especially the guy that won that horn.
Yep.
That's a what? $200 horn?
Yep.
See, right there.
Yep. $200. So the people get, the Fright Props gift card is $50.
Mm-hmm.
The shirts are $20-$25.
Terry's candle that's sitting right there. That was $65, $70.
Yep. So we're trying to give you the best deal that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, you're not finding this anywhere. And you're not even with all the sales and all the off-season coupons and this site and that site, you're not doing it. It's just not. You're not.
No.
It's impossible. So where are we going for 2026?
2026? You mentioned Jersey in earlier tonight. We're not going to Castle Dracula, but we are.
I hope not, because that burned down in 2005.
We're gonna go look at the site of it and pay our respects.
Well, we are actually working with Michael, who runs the Castle Dracula Wildwood Facebook page. We're actually trying to get a memorial put where it was.
There you go. See,
yeah,
you need to get him to do that before next year's tour. See, work with him to get that done, and then we can go stop by.
Dude, that's way out of the way of everything you would hit in Jersey.
Okay, we'll point it out on the map, and people can look at it through the map.
Yep, we'll do that.
We'll post a picture up on the bus.
So you're thinking my hood for 2026, huh?
Yes, we are gonna leave Pennsylvania and go just over the river to Jersey, and we're going to do some New York haunts, some Jersey haunts, and some Connecticut haunts.
And I haven't. Weirdly enough, I've done nothing in New York yet.
Yeah, that one's going to be that Saturday one. We're going to get to go to a town that is iconic, and no, it's not Salem. And then a haunt afterwards. So that one's going to be like a kind of an all dayer. We're going to leave it like noon, because I want people to have time to spend there, and we're going to eat there, and then we're going to go on to the haunt from there. And it's all 4 of these haunts, because we're only going to do 4 next year, because of time. That all 4 of these haunts are fantastic haunts that everybody has either heard about or has wanted to go on. And I'm very excited. I've only seen one of them, and it is hands down my favorite outdoor haunt in America. So they are extremely excited to have us out there. So
yeah, I know which one you're talking about, and that's been on the bucket list for a long time.
I talked to the husband and wife at Transworld, and they were just like, "Can it be this year?" And I go, "No, well, you have to wait." I go, "It's all part of the plan."
I might stay at that one too, because up there is about 2 hours from me.
Well, but here's the thing: the hotel will be in Jersey.
Yeah.
Because I originally had the hotel over at JFK, and after talking to Dozer, it was seeing the issue of both of you said when I said we're staying near JFK, you're like, well, then we're not going, and I'm like, great, I just lost people.
We won't be going to any haunts because you're just gonna get tired and turn the bus around because you can't get out of fucking New York.
It's never gonna leave Manhattan. So and that's why I love having people around the country that can help me with this, because I don't know. I've been to New York. I know what it's like to be in New York, but I didn't realize the whole issue of having a bus go down to New York and go by JFK and then have to get out.
And what's funny is all the haunts you want to hit, we don't have to be anywhere near Manhattan.
No. I just wanted it near an airport, but
yeah,
Jersey has an airport too.
Pretty good one, pretty big one.
That whole area is so compact that I didn't realize that even though it's only that airport and the hotel is only in reality 20 minutes away from each other.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the fact that it's outside of Manhattan, that they don't have to go over they don't have to go over the bridge, the tunnel, whatever, and then to get the bus in and out. Now it's just a straight shot to all the haunts. Yep. And it'll be super easy. So, that's why I lean on other people to help me make this tour amazing. And Jared has helped a ton. Chris has helped, other people in different areas of the country when I have these tours in different places have all helped craft what we do. So it's not a one-man show. I would not be able to do it without the help of a lot of the locals. So I appreciate that, Jared. Thank you very much.
Whatever we could do, I told you that. So that's 2026. We got any plans further than that?
I mean, of course I have a wait. What does my thing say over here? Let's see, future plans tab on this spreadsheet here. Man, I got to scroll down really far to see the end of that. Man, I mean, even the word Minnesota's on there. That's weird. I don't know what Minnesota. That's weird. Yeah, no, we're. I mean, we got to get to Markov's, don't we?
We got to get to Maryland.
I think we do.
There's so many.
I know. Yeah. So 2027 is looking like a merry Maryland year.
I'm going to look at that for you too, because I want to plan, because there's one we have to get to.
Yeah.
And they only open 10 nights, but we got to figure that out.
I might be able to convince them to open another night.
We might be able to.
We can work on that, because that can be one of the things. We've had a few haunts. Waldorf is one of them. Waldorf and Devils were not going to open last year for that weekend. They had no plans to open that day. And they opened for us. They had plenty of general admission too, but they had never planned to be open that day. So it was, I appreciate them, for taking that risk that, hey, we're only bringing like 40 people that year. You were taking a risk of opening up and only having 40 people, but it's also a great night to train your actors and to give them a very hard crowd to train against. So a haunt that maybe doesn't, maybe their first weekend is the 13th. They could open the Friday or Saturday night before, even just for us, have their actors go in there. They can do makeup training, costume training, they can try out. It's just their dry run, and we get to go through and see it, so that has worked out in the past. So we could definitely discuss that. And
we'll work on that. We got time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So no, I've got six names on the Maryland one. So I always have more than what we say we're going to go do in the end. But, so we've got several in that area before we travel. So kind of what I'm doing is I'm giving everybody cheap travel for a couple of years to get you excited to go on every Terror Tours. And then I'm going to say, hey, do you want to come down south for a little bit?
Let's go see the 13th gate, baby.
Let's go down and see a little bit of crawfish and gumbo, and
some baguettes, and one of the most highly decorated haunts I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yes, yeah. That one will probably be if I can swing what I want to do with them. We may all be able to do the escape rooms too. So it may be an all day thing. Like we'll do escape rooms.
I'm fine with getting there at like 8 a.m. if they'll have us there, dude.
Their escape rooms are. I think they're the best in the country. I don't think anybody can touch what they've done with those. So as long as they keep them. So I need to talk to them and make sure that they don't do any. They need to craft their business plan around me 4 years from now.
That's right. That's the goal.
That's right. Listen to Troy. Troy
13th gate, listen now. Dude, I'll never forget Terry's face when we walked out of there because she just wanted to go right back in line.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, that was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
See, and I've only seen it as a daytime tour. I only got to do that as a daytime tour in January.
I'm sure it was still beautiful.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the amount of normally when haunts turn on their lights, you're like, oh, that's how that looks. But theirs, it's like, okay, like it's still like if they turned all the lights on at 13th Gate, I don't think it would really change.
I don't think it would. I don't think you would notice, honestly.
No, because they have a lot of lighting in there already, but they don't have things to hide. It's very well detailed to where you could walk through with the lights on and it would still be awesome. So, touche to them for sure.
Yeah, so if you guys have been going to attractions in your locale for a while and have reached our level where we need to go like 4 hours to get somewhere new, Terror Tours is the way to do it. We're heading to Terror Tours, obviously. Tickets are bought. We're all set. We're ready to go. Just need to wait. So that's going to be 5 new ones for us. And then Troy's actually going to plan my Dallas trip for me.
Yep. Coming down here to Dallas, and we're going to get you into Dark Hour and get you into a couple of the Dark Hour. There's a new one that's just north of me that's opening where an old one was, and get you to like Cutting Edge and just to some cool haunts and some smaller and just like I do here. So if you ever want to do a tour in your own town and stuff like that, and you want to know where you should go, you can call me. You can message me and I'll give you my advice on where to go. For regular people that don't have 50 people with you, you don't necessarily always have to buy VIP. But and you can maybe do 3 in a night, in some locations. I've always said, if you really want the ultimate haunt experience for a weekend to see the most amount of haunts, the most different quality, different styles, you have to go to Chicago. It is one of the most compact areas of home haunts and pro haunts in the country. I went there in 2020 with Tristan, and we saw 45 home haunts and 8 pro haunts in 4 days, from a Thursday to a Sunday. Luckily, there was one open on Thursday. That was 13th floor. 13th floor opens every day of the week, every day of the year, pretty much. So
yeah, they're ones that when they have 2 weeks left, they go every day.
Right. Yeah. But it was that we could drive our car and go down this road and then go down this road and see 5 home haunts and then hit a pro haunt and then go down 10 more roads and see a bunch of other home haunts, and they're all just over the top home haunts. They're so fantastic. So if you have a weekend where you're like, we want to go see everything we can see and we want to see it all in one 4-day time, you got to go to Chicago. It's amazing. So.
Pennsylvania does have a 4 spot. We're doing it this year. Yeah. There's Halls of Horror, Hotel of Horror, Devil's Last Laugh, and Waldorf Estate of Fear. You can all get to in a night.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
It'll be the most we conquered in a night because I'm one where I want to see everything.
Right.
Well, and I want to show you guys everything.
It's hallway and motel. Aren't those both touch haunts?
Halls of Horror is a touch haunt, yes.
Okay.
And you get covered. That's what Freddy's wearing right now, and that's why he's all dirty. Is my Halls of Horror shirt?
Right. Okay. I figured it was that one. Okay.
But it's not over the top touch. It's they play with you, they paint, you smack a titty. I mean, it's just fun stuff.
Yeah. It's effective touch.
And if you're hanging out at the Waldorf, you're going to see people come in with their Halls of Horror shirt because they're all mucked up and everything. Right. But yeah, I think me, Terry, and Stalker Shelley are going to try for the 4-peat this year.
There you go.
Why not?
Yeah, Shelly's joining us again this year. That's good.
I know.
She found her way to our tour on Friday night when her other plans fell through, and she's like, "Can I buy a ticket?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I sent her the link. She bought a ticket right there, and we paid the haunts, and away she went. So I don't necessarily want to always do that because the haunts already know how many people we have coming and things like that. But I will never turn down anybody. If you end up showing up to Pittsburgh on Saturday just by chance, and you're like, "Hey, I want to go," I have single day tickets available, and I can sell it to you right there. And
we will have one, by the way.
Oh, I will have one that's day of. Okay.
Probably a Saturday.
Okay, that's fine. The haunts don't care. More the merrier.
I'm trying to talk them into the full weekend, but hotels and everything.
There's been people who have done. We've always had people who've done like just Friday and Saturday or just Saturday and Sunday, and then they realize about halfway through the first night, they're like, "Why didn't we do the whole weekend?"
Well, Shelly realized that with that Friday. She's like, "I'm buying."
Yeah. She was like, "This was awesome," and it's like you said, the bus part of it is so much fun, just hanging out. Plus, you get to drink on the bus. You don't have to drive, and nobody wants to drive to haunted houses because you lose. Like, to me, you kind of lose a little bit of your adrenaline because you have to focus on the road. You got to focus on where you're going. You have to figure out where you're going. Where with the bus, you just get on the bus and you never lose that energy.
Yeah.
Minus unless it's like a 3-hour thing. then eventually people fall asleep, but we've had that happen. I think almost everybody on the way back from Markoff's for East Coast, I think pretty much 80% of the bus was asleep.
Probably.
It's a 3-hour bus ride from Markoff's to Philly. So
yeah, it is.
That was we didn't realize that either. They kind of hid that on purpose.
I think Markoff's is in the middle of literal nowhere.
Oh, it is. That will definitely be the single night for us. Markoff's is by itself for sure. There's way too much to do there.
Dude, and that's one thing we got to talk about off air. Because there is one hiccup we're going to have with that we got to find a way around.
Okay. Well, I happen to know the owners and the artistic director.
Oh, me too. So we could get around it, but it's just something I don't want you to forget about because that can really hurt.
Yeah. No, I'll make sure. I will make sure it's Jared approved.
Okay.
Okay. I have to run everything. I used to run it through my wife. Now I have to run it through Jared. So, yeah.
Only in our local. I don't know shit about Pittsburgh, so I'm letting you take the wheel.
Right. I have several people. I've got, Haunt Seekers is with us this year. Matthew is with us, and he's given me some advice on some things, and he'll definitely fill me in on things we can do around there. So we've got some new blood around us, so that will help us. So yeah, stay tuned to the Facebook page. It's
make sure you like all the social medias. It's Terror Tours on all of it.
Yeah,
and just buy your tickets, guys. Oh, he's working on something.
There, see, it's Terror
Tours.rip. There you go.
RIP. So you can go to the website. You can see all the things. You can hang out on our Facebook page. Everything gets shared to Facebook and Instagram. We do have a TikTok. I'm going to make another video of what the video you saw earlier to make it less detailed and crappy and put it on TikTok. But Jared does amazing TikTok videos for us. So I may just be like, I'm just going to just repost what he did.
You can do whatever you want. I'll send it to you. It don't matter.
It's perfect. So it does exactly what we need it to do. Facebook, our tickets are on sale. You can get them right now.
Get the early bird special, guys. Why pay more?
I know. Well, and we have, there's 2 ways to do payment plans. Ticket Leap still doesn't have a payment plan thing, and I've been harping on them to do this. It is, you can go onto our Square site, which is at the bottom on our ticket page. It'll say buy tickets. And then right below it is another link that if you want to do payment plans, you go to our Square site, and they offer, you can do it through Cash App, which is weird. You can do it through all the different types of payment things, and you can do it through Affirm, which gives you 4 months to pay it off.
Which I did last year.
85 to 4 payments. Or you can go to no, sorry, that's Afterpay. Afterpay is the 4 payments. Affirm, if you go to their website, you can get a they will pre-approve you for like so many X amount of dollars, like $1,500, whatever it is, and they pretty much approve everybody, even with crappy credit, because it's not, and there's no late fees or anything like that, and they give you a virtual credit card. So they give you the number and you can use it. It's active for like 2 days or whatever, and you can go use it wherever you want. I actually used it to buy my plane tickets to go to East Coast. So I pay like $60 a month for those tickets instead of the $600 that it was when I bought them. Yeah. And so you can do that for the tour tickets. You can use that credit card number on the Ticket Leap site. So, and they do monthly payments, and it's no interest, I think, or very little. They have different options of how you can pay. You can have no interest and you can have some interest. And you just pay $30-$40 a month for it, and away it goes. Yeah. So you don't have to pay up front. You don't have to pay all the money. So people can break it up, because we all know money ain't growing on trees. Or
nope, especially during haunt season.
Right. And we all have to buy eggs. So I understand that, eggs and bills are important. So
yeah,
we try to give as many options as we can, to people. And if somebody wants to buy one ticket now and one ticket in 2 months, fine. You can buy single tickets. You can buy, we have group pricing. If it's over 10 people that want to buy at one time, and you can have individual people buy those tickets that way. We do the 10 plus is $255. So you can get it even, and that's cheaper than even the convention price. So if you can get us 10 people on one purchase, boom, and we can
go get us 10 people.
Right. So, if you need to have individual ticket sales for that, so if like 3 of your friends are not with you and they can't give you the money right then, we can send them a code to get it down to that price. So, we're very workable with that stuff. So
very cool. Well, Troy, don't hang up yet, but I want to thank you for coming on, because we got to spread the we got to spread the word on this awesome tour. Yeah, because it was definitely one of the highlights of my season last year. I know Bruce had a ton of fun. Tim's Insanity. We still haven't stopped talking about it.
Yeah,
and we got you some new blood on here this year, and I'm not done yet. I'm going to get you some more.
I appreciate it. I appreciate all your work with it, and I appreciate all those who have bought tickets already. That's
yes, because we've already sold a ton.
Right. We've never sold this many tickets this early, so it's. I'm not going to say it's going to sell out, but it's going to sell out. And
yeah, it's going to sell out. So you might as well get it for the show price. Come on, get that early bird special.
Yep. So you can come by and talk to us at East Coast as well, at East Coast Haunters Convention. It's the end of April, the last weekend in April. It's in Oaks, PA, just about an hour north of Philly. We'll be there, table 800, back in the back. If you go in the first row, you go straight back. Bypass Froggies, our title sponsor, and say hi. Thank you for sponsoring, and then go straight back and come and see us. You'll see that cool logo there, that purple and green.
That's right. And you'll probably see my fat ass hanging around too. That's right.
You're awesome.
Because once we're done filming, I told Troy we would clock in and do a little guerrilla marketing for him.
Yeah. And I can go see the floor for a little bit.
That's right. We do it for the Haunted Informer. Terry covers his booth when he's got to take a break.
Yep. They're a sponsor as well.
Yeah. Welcome, John. John, you're gonna have a blast.
Yep.
So, guys,
I got a lot to live up to this time. Now I got a little more eyes on me this time. So.
You're gonna be fine. The haunts are gonna be awesome. We're gonna do a good time. All right, guys, but we're coming up on an hour and a half, which is long for us, but we had a lot of shit to cover with this. Make sure next week, when this airs, next week's East Coast. So make sure you got your tickets ready. I just got mine today, actually. And we'll see you guys out there, and make sure to go to territories.rip. And we will see you guys next Monday.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to end.
Night after